I am live. This is going to be very short. So if people do contact me, don't contact the phone number because it's in the other room. Go through the Telegram group if you have a question. But I got to do this kind of quick. I'm on my way out to the gym. Real quick, though. So quite literally, what happened to the computer was a Microsoft sabotage. I'm not sure if it was even really Microsoft Windows update that did it or what. But let me just, I'm going to play this for you, or maybe I'll just have to talk it. All right. So I was asking about BitChute because BitChute's mental, and there's no way of actually deleting a video in case you get a duplicate or something. So I was talking to Josh anyway. And let's see if you can hear it. I got to put it back on a different screen for you to hear. This is just interesting because this is going to be, Josh has basically explained to me that Microsoft will limit your functions if it thinks that you're either pirating or they just don't like you. So if you don't conform and take their updates, that could be a reason enough for them to up and just do that to you. So they disabled my internet. They forced an update, tried to force an update. I said I didn't want it. They gave me the option. Don't give you the option then. Just say, now you're going to have Windows 11. So I just didn't take it. And right after that, they disabled. It says activate Windows, go to settings to activate Windows. I'm using the operating system, so we bypassed all that stuff, but like it still doesn't think I have internet. It's not allowing me to have like the news up or anything like that. That stupid box I never wanted in the first place. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Hold on. There we go. So when I go over here, you see that stupid thing? No one, who the hell wants that anyway? It's a bunch of junk and bullshit propaganda mail, and then your weather. So that says, yeah, you might be offline. I'm on a live stream right now, but I might be offline, right? So obviously they're suppressing something. That entire little section right there on the bottom is supposed to have a little globe. You see that globe that pops up here? That's supposed to be there when there's no internet. And then there's a little screen with a thing that looks like a plug when you have an Ethernet cable hardwired to it. That's not even there. Okay? So my clock is an hour off, and I can't change it. And now let me show you this interesting thing, okay? So I go into settings, just to confirm to you just how sinister this is. Okay, you see this box that says network and internet? Like if I have a problem with the internet, I should be able to go in here and see what's going on with it, right? Watch what happens when I click it. Boom! Explosion. It just obliterates itself. Would you like to see that again? It won't even let you in it. Ready? Ready? Click. Boom! Nothing. And I'm doing it live, so you know I'm not editing it for effect or something like that. So that's where I'm at right now. If it wasn't for Josh telling me, dictating to me what I needed to type in like the DOS code area to like override stuff, I wouldn't have been able to do it. And if I didn't have this extra computer here where I could figure out what our actual IP address was before they shut everything down, I wouldn't have had that to transfer. So, yeah, quite literally, I was sabotaged. Now, however way you want to say that happened or who or what for what reason is all speculative. But I do want to say this. This wasn't really about that, but that just kind of was on the top of my mind because we just had talked about it. But when it comes to, maybe some people aren't as traumatized as others when it comes to certain things. This is kind of a joke, so I'm already laughing about it. But it's like when you find out about Santa Claus, right? For instance, it's like the people closest to you did lie to you, right? The ones closest to you, your mother and your father, lied to you about something, right? And then you're like, well, that's a lot to take in, but at least I still have the Easter Bunny. Oh, what? Tooth Fairy? And then, the trauma sets in, and the rest of your life, you just shouldn't trust anyone anymore because the people closest to you can lie to you. Some people take that to other extremes. And then they're like, hey, let's take you to Catholic Church. No, this time this guy's real. Even though he lied to you 4 other times. Anyway. point being, I do not, even though the views expressed by some of the people that were on yesterday, or the day before, I still, until I see it, man, until I see it being ripped out of a living human flesh, I will not really buy these white cloth things. I just can't see something that big happening. And I from what I read with Dr. Ryan Cole, it's specifically from that article that was on the G. Edward Griffin Need to Know News. When I read to you everything that he discredited, he said there's no nano in it. That parasites are leaves, specks of leaf in his sample. He apparently has one sample, but he can dictate whatever is in everything else because of his one test. That's not science either, by the way, in case anybody wants to know. Do it 100 times with 100 different samples. Do it 100 times on the same sample, and then 100 times on 100 different samples, until you find out, okay, this is law of probability. This is probably what it is all the time. But you don't just say, oh, based on this one observation, and how do we know that that's true? I don't trust anyone saying anything about anything anymore, because that's how we get in trouble. So I don't think Dr. Ryan Cole isn't even Santa Claus. So there's no reason for me to try to want him to be real, So he doesn't even give me gifts. He doesn't shine upon us joy and delight in the holidays. So I don't know if Dr. Ryan Cole is really somebody I want to give two shits about until I find out for sure. It's not even about the person or the character or the blah, 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 and their personality and their popularity, which is even the most superficial thing to gauge somebody's, whether or not they're telling the truth or not. That's ridiculous. But go show me. Let me see it. And not some artificial, hey, it's kind of like because we showed you pictures of a slide. Well, how do I know that was actually from the vial? These are all leaps in logic and leaps in trust and assumption and presumption. And how do I know that the vial that is handed to you that says Moderna on it is even not just staged in the first place by Moderna, who won't give you the actual stuff. They'll give you whatever they want you to find or not find in their shot so that they protect themselves. If these things are getting leaked away, I mean, what's the chain of custody on something like that? You can't just walk off with pharmaceuticals in most cases. Shouldn't there be some kind of log, ledger, inventory of these things so people who aren't supposed to have them don't? So all these people that claim that they have them, how many, I'm talking about truth. I'm not talking about people that are on the show with me that are actually doctors and stuff like that. I'm talking about just the random people say that we have them being tested. Do you have them being tested? Because how did you even get them without being a crime? Maybe I'm wrong about that, but you would think, you would want that to be the truth, that people weren't just able to walk around grabbing shit out of freaking hospitals and that's not a crime. How does that happen? And how do they not have an inventory of what they have and what they don't have? It's just a little weird that there's no controls on that. With everything else, there's controls, but not that. They can just, we have the vials and we're going to get them. Like I said, not the people that I have on, but these other random people that I hear on these so-called truther channels that are way watered down and mixed emotions and mixed signals and just about everything that they say and do. Those are the ones I'm talking about. So there's that. That's all I had to say. I'm not convinced yet. That's all I'm getting at. And just because I liked Dr. Ryan Cole up until that point that I read that article where he basically said, yeah, everything that everybody's been saying since the beginning of this is a lie. Or I can confirm that it's not true. I guess there's a better way to say it because of my one sample or however many samples he did. That's not even cross-checked. Where's the control? All this stuff. People just don't get it anymore. So anyway, now we know. Now we know where I stand with that. And it's just simply because I don't trust anything, because anyone, whatever their intent may be, can lie. Or just be wrong. Or believe it themselves. But when somebody is saying they're making observations and they're telling you this, there's absolutely no parasites in this thing. That would mean there's no organoids either. That would also mean there's no E. coli that actually produces this stuff. So I don't believe it. I'm sorry, I don't believe it that there's no yeast, no E. coli. Those are specific things that would have been in there. Now, I don't believe that there's Hydra vulgaris in there. That's a Bade thing. I'm not into that. But what other things? Unless that is what we're seeing as the clots. Is that just Hydra vulgaris all tied in a knot? Well, then maybe that's a thing. Well, let's explore that for a while. But yeah, other than that, I just don't have the same faith in other people that I think other people do. And maybe they know them better. But knowing somebody doesn't mean a damn thing either. Nobody knows what goes on in other people's heads, or why they would do things, or how they would do it, or what their pressures are that are being pushed upon them to do or say or be a certain way and deliver a certain message. We don't know what they are. We don't know the personal conversations that people have on phones and what they might feel afraid to do, not to be interested in, not interested in it, as far as money interest or whatever. You never know. Or protecting their assets because of things being threatened to take away if they don't do certain things. So that's all I'm saying. I wasn't trying to come on here like fucking Timcast, all disheveled and wearing a freaking beanie that's attached to my brain, apparently, because I don't think anybody even knows if Tim Pool has hair or ears. Does anybody even know if Tim Pool has ears? This might just be to hold on to the hat. You never know. All right. I'm out. I'm going to go beat up some bags and lift up some weights. You guys have a great one. Why didn't it do anything? Try that again. 3, 2, 1. Blink.